Eric was there. Eric Muller was there. Everybody from the show was there. Johnny Rollins was there. And Johnny reminded me of this. At some point in the evening, I stood up, and I'm sure it was a glass of ouzo, right?
Yes,
and I
ouzo.
said, from this moment on, Eric Muller, by virtue of the worst piece of production ever made, is now and will never be known as Mancow Muller.
Randy Miller and Michael Seward on RandyMillerRadio.com.
That's nice. That's a scary voice this time.
People say the blues is just a good man feeling
Time
bad.
of year.
I don't know about you, that's not the kind of blues I have. I'm a bad man.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a bad man. Let's get that understood.
Let's get a lot of things understood today. If
Milk.
we can, please. Hi, everybody. My name is Rocket and Teresa. I'm coming to you from Mix 93, where we're going to do a whole lot of... We got a bunch of stuff coming up. We got to play, and we're going to do 2 down in a row. We're going to 5, 10 in a row. And then in just a couple of seconds, we'll talk about a lost dog. And some adoptions that might be available. Wayside Waifs need you.
You got your Matlock voice on, don't you?
It is kind of a Matlock
It is.
voice.
That was good.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, Michael Seward.
Hey, Randy Miller.
My name is Randy Miller, and you're Michael Seward. And we've got a lot to talk about. You know, people have asked me not at all about this program, and they'll say, you know, sometimes you have some really good guests on there. Right. You know?
Yeah, we have.
We have some phenomenal.
You name it.
You name it. And, and I said, and they say, why don't you and Michael just kind of do a show without any guests? And I said, that's, you know, for the same money, I would understand that.
Right.
And so that's what we're doing today, because we need to catch up. We need to let you know what's happening in our lives. And we also want to know what's happening in your life. Not really.
Kind of getting intimate with Randy and Michael, if you will.
Thank you.
If you
And I will. Every single time. I just had a birthday.
Happy birthday, Randy.
Thank you. I just had my 63rd birthday, and people are like, he doesn't look that young.
What?
Yes.
You've got that oil of Olathe, I think.
I still use oil of Olathe, and I use anything that comes in a box from Chewy. But, okay, so that brings up a point right there, Michael. Can I talk to you about this?
Please.
My wife is, you know, she's fantastic. Her name is Renee. And
Well, she's your fantasy wife.
she is my fantasy wife. I won her in a radio contest, as you guys know. But lately, she's been on this moisturizing kick. I mean, not for her, for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
So-
that's interesting.
Yes. So she's telling me the kind of moisturizing that I need to do. Okay. I'm not really a moisturizing guy. Are you?
Well, I'm kind of thinking the listeners, myself, I'm wondering now, should we be thinking about moisturizer?
Well, you should. You
Really?
absolutely should. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I just know that Renee tells me that when you take a shower, okay. So here's my routine. Are you ready?
Well,
I've
I've
never-
never put my seatbelt on. Milk, lemonade.
No, because when I was not moisturizing, I would wash my hair with shampoo, and I'm done.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, I mean, tell me this is a back and forth.
Well, all right. So, yeah, what's my routine? I don't do conditioner a whole lot.
Right?
So
I never did.
I think
never did.
putting more in your hair is not ideal. I don't think that's great to
Okay.
keep putting stuff in your hair. But yeah, every once in a while, my wife's like, you know, maybe you're kind of dry a little bit. Just
Is she
add
on
some
you too? All right, let me tell you. So Renee says, here's what you need to do. You put the shampoo on first.
Right.
Then you rinse it out, and you take your and then before you take your shower, the other parts, you put the moisturizer on, and you just leave it there.
Absolutely. Well, moisturizer, or are you talking about conditioner?
Oh, it's I'm sorry, conditioner.
Conditioner, yes.
You put the
That's
conditioner
right.
on.
Let that
right.
sit. I do that.
Oh, you do?
I do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I've never done that.
Okay.
And so Renee tells me but my shower lasts about 3 minutes, tops. And I told her, I said, I don't have a lot of time for the conditioner to sit on there and do its job. What does it do?
To do? You got people to see.
I got stuff to do.
You've already interviewed probably 3 people before you got in the shower.
And two during the shower.
Okay.
So anyway,
Renee Kelly.
well, and so she's got me doing that, and then she has this other stuff that you put on your legs. You put this stuff. What is it? It's some kind of, I don't know what it is. It's not lotion, because then you put the lotion on.
Wait, this sounds like Silence of the Lambs all of a sudden.
You put the lotion on to seal it in there.
Okay.
And I thought I would hate all of that.
Uh-oh.
I love it.
It's a day at the spa at Miller's Ranch.
I love it. My bathroom time has gone from 3 minutes to about 3 hours.
Well,
I am soft as a pillow. Anyway.
And to that point,
yes.
that's kind of why I've decided not to get too fit. I mean, there's guys at the gym, but I mean, I think
I like that
back to
conscious
soft
decision.
as a pillow.
I like that. Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Wouldn't
right.
your wife rather cuddle
Right?
up to something?
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Than
yes.
some
That's right.
6-pack ab.
Ow, that hurts me. Ow. Ow, I cut myself on you.
Right.
You don't want that crap.
You're welcome, honeys.
Anyway, so when you have your birthday, whatever birthday it is, you tend to reflect. And you tend to kind of look back at your life and kind of re-examine things. And I'm not a big look backer, honestly. I like to look forward, and I think it's my radio training, because that's the when you're on a radio, you never refer to something you just did that was horrible or a goof up.
So you can blame the rest of us for keep bringing up what you did in the past.
Right? Exactly.
I'm guilty of that.
I just had a guy. Who's it? Oh man. Oh boy. Yeah, I can't tell. Anyway.
Okay.
I did have a guy the other day ask me, when were you on Q104? For how many years? And I said, 13, 14 years. And he said, you were there during 9/11. And I said, absolutely. He said, because I was telling my wife, I found out about 9/11 because I was listening to you on the show. And I said, that is absolutely correct. And I don't know if I've ever told you that story.
No.
So when 9/11 happened, Dennis Rooney was my news guy.
Right.
And generally, when it was news time, it was just kind of a suggestion of news time. You know what I mean? Like if we had something else that we wanted to do, if we wanted to do a bit, or if we were going to do some other...
Trust me, I know, Randy.
I know. Well, and so on 9/11, it's news time, but we've got this other thing set up that I want to do. And I asked Dennis, I said... So, any big news? I mean, can we skip the news? And he goes, not much going on. And I said, okay, we'll go to this. So we start preparing for this other thing, and Dennis comes in about 2 minutes later and says, kind of a weird deal. There's a plane that hit a tower in New York. And I said, okay. So we said, let's do the news and see. And within 10 minutes, we were picking up the national news coverage and broadcasting that, because, I mean, it was such, as you know, I mean, as everybody knows, such a surreal thing. But it's amazing to think that there are 20-year-olds right now walking around that have no idea about 9/11. I mean,
born during a pandemic.
Yeah. Right. It's just a crazy, I mean, it's a crazy time that we live in right now, but when you think back, there have been so many crazy times. And that's what honestly gives me hope, because we made it through that. We made it through everything else. We can make it through monkeypox, we could. I mean, I really believe that.
But since the pan, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it past this, Randy. And that is when you go to, I don't want to pick on any store, but any, blank depot or
right.
something Target, now you got so many slots that are handicapped since the pandemic. You got so many that are for mothers. You got delivery. We lost half the parking lot. So that you literally have to take the
We
tram.
need to take back the parking lot.
Take back the parking lot. That's what that's still
Take back the parking lots. Yes.
PSA.
Yeah.
But isn't that something?
Well, it used to happen at my primary care doctor, and I used to joke with him about it because in the parking at his place, it was just like that. I mean, I said, are there any kind of special parking for guys that are okay? Right. I mean, can we get one of those going on? But yeah, so when it's your birthday, you do a lot of you get a lot of Facebook messages, which are very nice. It makes you feel good. Mm-hmm. I got a Facebook message from Johnny Rollins. Johnny Rockin' Rollins. Yes.
Right?
Yes. I'm this guy. And Johnny reminded me of a thing. So a lot of people ask me from time to time, hey, well, what's this about you and mancow? And for those of you that don't know or don't care, mancow was a guy that worked on my show on Q104 for a number of years. Not a lot of years. He was, we got him from, I think, Warrensburg. He was at a radio station in Warrensburg. So he comes in and
his mother, by the way, lived in the same block as us.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in Raytown.
Yeah.
And so they were.
Yeah. And smart kid.
I didn't know him though. I didn't know him, but I just knew.
Smart kid,
Okay.
clever. And he was an intern first. And I think that they hired him as like an assistant producer for my show. So he would come in every morning, bursting with energy, as at that time we all were. And he came up with this bit one time. I mean, I call it a bit. It was a produced piece of material called, it was about a guy who was half man, half cow. So at the time, mancow, as he's known now, was known as Eric Muller. That's his real name.
Okay.
And so he comes in, he's very excited to show this to me, to play this for me.
Milk.
Yeah. And I listened to it and I said, Eric, I got to tell you, that might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But as was the culture of the show, the dumbest thing you've ever heard gets talked about more than anything else, right? And he loved it. I mean, he loved any kind of attention, any kind of. So.
Well, that's bragging rights on your show, right?
It was, yeah. And so we went. I had a birthday party at Tasso's. Remember? Well, you were just at Tasso's.
We were just there.
Yeah. Tasso's
probably the same crew.
Probably was the dancer. Was she?
The dancer was there.
She's 110. She's fantastic.
110,
she's incredible. But we had this party at Tasso's, and Eric was there. Eric Muller was there. Everybody from the show was there. Johnny Rollins was there, and Johnny reminded me of this. At some point in the evening, I stood up, and I'm sure it was a glass of ouzo. Right? Yes, and I said, from this moment on, Eric Muller, by virtue of the worst piece of production ever made, is now and will never be known as Mancow Muller. And
everybody yelled out a Opa!
Opa! And it stuck.
Wow, there's the Paul Harvey.
So Eric,
rest of the story.
You're ready, and you're welcome. I mean, so he worked for me for a little while longer. Then he went on to do his own thing and had a very, very successful career. But I'd forgotten about that, and Johnny reminded me of that. So that was pretty good. That was pretty fun.
Is it amazing how many people have their own memories of things from you when you're looking at like your Facebook and all that?
Yeah, it really is.
It's all over the place. It
makes me feel great. And the thing I remember at Tasso's is also they encouraged you to break plates there, right?
Mm-hmm. Still do.
Oh yeah, and that was like the big thing. You have a drink of ouzo, you buy the opa, and I didn't realize until the end of the party, they charge you $1 per plate. Did you know that?
Well, fortunately, inflation hasn't hit the plate. It's still a bug. Now, it would have been nice.
The plate industry is still thriving.
No, so I knew this, Randy, from your experiences, but I would have been nice if you'd have told me you're not supposed to break the plate while the food's on it. That would have been nice to know.
I sent the text. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. But no, that was
That's a fun spot.
That was fantastic. And I've kind of weirdly, so after the mancow thing, then he went on a tirade against me for many years. And
why would that be? I mean, you were a mentor to him.
I thought I was. I was. But let me tell you something. When you're when you've got a little and you're competitive in the industry, things can kind of spiral out of control.
Because you don't have that with others. Kimberly Ray. I mean, you could list a ton. Roger Carson, all those names.
Roger Carson, I still have a problem with.
Okay, well, okay.
So here's a weird little happenstance for you about Roger Carson, who was on Q104 also. Roger Carson is now, do you know what his job is?
He works with Johnny Rollins.
Yes. He works for the Johnny Rollins Driving Academy. And so he teaches people how to drive. That's horrifying to me. That is so frightening to me. Roger Carson is teaching kids, how to drive.
And I hope Johnny Rollins didn't get the idea to let Roger start teaching people how to fly helicopters. That would be
moving. That was Roger's big commercial. Moving. Well, and he was at Worlds of Fun.
Don't forget about the Mamba.
Oh, my gosh. It's about to strike.
Keep your arms, your legs in, everybody. So
here's a couple other things that have happened to me recently that I kind of regard these as PSAs also. And my wife got me a new Apple Watch.
Oh, she did?
For my birthday.
Well, that's...
That's really nice. I will learn how to use this one day. Anyway,
time's on your side, Randy.
Did I tell you about Wags?
No. Oh, Wags the Great?
Yeah, our dog Wags, 4-year-old pit bull mix rescue that we love. Wags.
Honestly, I think some of us that follow you are sick of it. I'm sick of Wags.
I know.
I'm sure your own daughters are sick of it.
We're just coming off a Saturday at Dogtoberfest in Blue Springs, so don't even get me started.
Right.
But
you used to have all these posts with your daughters. You remember that? You remember those times?
I do. And our kids tell us that. We've seen your new family.
Right.
Which is what happens when your kids move out and you have dogs. That is your new family.
Right.
And so between Wags and Satchmo, we're doing okay. But so Wags is 4 years old, and he's calmed down a little bit, but he had a friend over to stay named Callie, and I think he was trying to impress Callie. We've got all these tomatoes. Do you have a bunch of tomatoes?
No, we don't. We don't.
We get 1,000 tomatoes.
Okay. I mean, you live.
Do you want some tomatoes?
No, we're good. Okay. We're good.
We live in the country.
You live in the country.
I mean, there's no excuse. We live in the country. And so we got 1,000 tomatoes.
Boy can survive.
And Renee decided to make tomato pie. Have you ever had tomato pie?
I'm not gonna.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me?
I'm not gonna ever have a tomato pie.
Andy, have you ever had tomato pie? Oh my gosh. It is wonderful. Can I tell you what's in it?
I mean, if there's pepperoni in it, we're getting closer.
Tomatoes, obviously. Cheese, onions. Oh. Well, anyway, she made this wonderful tomato pie. And
I don't mean to laugh, but it's if you could see my face when Kelly, my wife, would bring out a tomato pie, it'd be like, what did I do? I'll fix it.
Do you hate tomatoes?
Not a big. I can do salsa, that kind of thing, but no, I can't do it. I'm working on. That's my next vegetable to conquer. I'm doing thin slices.
Okay.
I still have not grown up yet, Randy. I'm just going to tell you.
I love to eat my wife's pie. So I'm coming home one day, and I called Renee, and she said, I made a tomato pie. And I said, are you kidding me? Oh, my gosh, how fast can I drive? So I'm speeding home. I get home, and I see her out in front with her dogs, which is kind of odd. And then she like runs back into the house. And I came and I said, what is going on? She said, you have just missed an emergency situation. And I said, what happened? She goes, I went to take a shower. I took the tomato pie out and I set it on top of the counter, on the stove.
Everybody likes tomato pie at the Millers.
When I came out of the shower, the pie was on the floor and the pie was in wags. He's eaten the entire tomato pie.
It looked like a crime scene.
Now, it did, but let me tell you something. Luckily, my wife is very smart with animals, and she knew exactly what to do.
Is it a problem with acidity levels? I don't know. Is it like chocolate?
Onions.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, dogs can't eat onions, and this thing is full of onions. He's eaten it all. I mean,
it's like French onion soup.
There's like 7 pounds of pie. So Renee is panicking, but she knows that if she gets some hydrogen peroxide, and this is a tip that a lot of people do not know.
No.
And you feed it a little bit of hydrogen peroxide to your dog, it will induce vomiting. Did you know that?
No.
I had no idea, but luckily she did. So she starts, and then she calls the vet. And they said, did you give him some hydrogen peroxide? And she goes, yeah.
I mean, Renee is a vet.
Basically.
She really is.
Basically.
Yeah.
And she's worked for a lot of vets. So he finally brings it all up.
Wow.
And she shows me when I come in, she goes, here's the pie. And she's got like holding 2 large bags.
Trash bags.
Yeah. I mean, It could have been horrible.
Could have been horrible.
It could have been horrible.
I mean, did you come home and just have some chips and salsa after that?
But so that was the same day that I'm sitting in my office downstairs later, and Renee is preparing some dinner, and she runs down and she goes, "Hey, can you help me with this?" I said, "What's that?" And I look over, and her thumb is gushing blood because she's used one of these have you ever heard of a mandolin?
I have. I don't own one.
A mandolin is a cooking implement that is
It's not a stringed instrument.
It's not a stringed instrument, but it's also something that I think they used in many torture rituals. It's a very
It's a
it's terrible.
Slice and dicer
It is.
grater.
And she sliced off the tip of her thumb, and it's not good. And I go, what do you want to do? She goes, I don't know. Probably wrap it up. And I go, no, we're not going to wrap it up.
What would she do if that happened to Wags?
What would she do if it happened to me?
Yeah.
I mean, if I.
But she's more of a man than you'll ever be.
Exactly. And she'll,
like,
if I clip a nail wrong, she's like, emergency.
Right.
Let's go.
But she's lost a little bit of finger, really?
So,
Some of
just the very tip of her thumb. And I said, no, we got to go. So our daughter Maddie says, something like that happened to a friend of mine, and she went to urgent care, and they were able to stitch it up.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
You go to urgent care.
So we go to urgent care in Blue Springs, and first of all, when we get there, they said, do you have an appointment? And I said, huh?
Are you kidding?
And I said,
are you kidding?
An appointment. This is urgent care. And she goes, yeah,
You're not at Capitol Grill.
We prefer that you make an appointment. And I said, well, if we had known, we could have said, next Tuesday at about 2:30, I'll be slicing off the tip of my thumb.
Yeah. Did you guys lose your crystal ball?
Urgent care? How about I don't care? I don't care. So luckily they found it in their heart to take us.
Randy, real quick, here's something to think about. If you're this urgent care, you have to ask yourself, is what we're about to tell this patient who's bleeding out, is this something we want on the headlines on the paper tomorrow? Does it pass that test?
Right.
And the answer is no.
Well, I mean,
this urgent care says you need an appointment before you have an accident.
Here are the headlines. Here are the headlines right now. Don't go to urgent care because they don't care. And so they take her back and they said, oh, it's kind of through the fingernail too, so we can't do anything. You need to go to St. Luke's East. I urgently thank you.
I'm laughing. That's not funny.
Have you been to an ER lately? I hope the answer is no.
Not personally.
Okay.
But
have you?
I work with a company where we staff ERs.
That's right. That's right. Well, good that I need to be talking to you. We go to St. Luke's East, and, luckily we haven't had to go to an ER in a while. 3 hours.
Yeah.
3 hours. I mean, Michael, is that pretty much the expectation now? 3 hours we sat there. And just to go back and have them say, we can't really do anything. Wrap it up.
I mean, so it sounds like when it rains, it pours because it all hit right when you arrived.
Exactly.
Everybody showed up at the same time. It is an emergency. It's an accident. Unlike urgent care.
Listen, I felt bad for other people coming in. There was a guy came in that had like a head wound. Head wound Harry comes in, and I'm thinking, well, surely they'll rush. No, they check him in. He's sitting in the waiting room.
You think he went to urgent care first?
I think he did. And then here comes Wags. Wags is in throwing up tomato soup.
Well, so on the mandolin, I happen to know, we know 2 people that's happened to. There's a problem.
Oh.
Maybe we, Cheatham and Hal, Better Call Saul. I don't know what it is.
We know this guy
Andy Oxman.
Andy Oxman, yes.
And Coconut Patty.
Wow.
My mother.
This thing needs to be taken off the market.
It makes me think we need to have your buddy Ira Gumsore back in the studio.
We need a class action lawsuit is what we need.
Yeah, we do.
Oh my gosh, can you believe that? And the guy at the ER was actually pretty funny. I said, we were here last night, and I said we waited for about an hour, and then we left. And
so you left? You went home?
We went home, and we came back today, and thinking that the crowd may be smaller and then the concert venue that we saw last night, and he said, "Welcome to healthcare." Mm-hmm. But let me ask you, because you're in that field. Is that the same all over?
It's all timing. It is. You've got so many physicians there to serve when that happens. Most of the hospitals we work at, when it's really critical, they're going to transfer to a larger hospital. We serve smaller rural hospitals, but
yeah. And they do.
There's cases where all of a sudden you've got you're empty all day. Your ER volumes is empty, and all of a sudden you have a bus or van or things like that, and then you've got an issue.
Yeah. Well, and they do a little bit of triage. They come over and assess the situation, give you a Band-Aid, and say, sit in a waiting room for a while. But 3 hours.
So did Randy sleep well the night before you finally got taken care of? You're at home.
I slept like a baby.
Did you? Yeah, you did not.
Yeah,
no, you did not. You were up all night, Randy.
Well, no, I she had it all wrapped
just staring.
up.
She probably had her hand there, and you were on watch.
It was
Band of Brothers.
It was ready to go. But that was it was scary, and yet I was kind of disappointed in the wait times because. Aren't there hospitals around Kansas City that say, hey, no wait times?
Probably shouldn't market it that way.
I know, right? Because you never know.
You don't know. It's why they call it accidents.
Well, it's called accidents, and like you said, it's timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's...
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I'm glad she's okay. I just had... We all want to know one thing.
Yes.
Where's the mandolin?
The mandolin's still in the house.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
Yeah. But now she's going to use the guard. There's a guard that you can
You're
use.
supposed to have the guard.
You're supposed to use the guard.
Can Andy weigh in? Does he have the mandolin?
Andy, do you have the mandolin? He does have the mandolin. Yeah.
It seems like you need a shark suit or at least a shark.
That's how he cut his thumb.
Yeah.
That's why they call him Four Finger Andy.
Mm-hmm.
He lost a thumb and 5 other fingers on the other hand.
It's not good, Randy.
It's not good. So the other thing I want to talk about is I interviewed Weird Al Yankovic.
Weird Al.
Yeah, yesterday. And we may include that at some point on the podcast. But Weird Al has a new movie that's out called Weird: The Al Yankovic Story. And I sent you the movie. It's impossible to talk about it and not ruin it for you because there's so many great cameos in it. And it's one of the funniest movies I have ever seen. It's a mockumentary about Weird Al's life. And it's done in such a way. I will tell you this. They shot it in 18 days. It had a budget of $8 million. And for the pool scene, just remember when you watch this, for the pool scene, Al just went to his holiday greeting card list and emailed every one of his famous friends and said, you want to show up in the valley for half a day and have some fun. That's how he got all of these incredible cameos that are a part of this.
And these cameos look so good. It took me a minute.
Oh, yeah.
It took me a minute like, wait.
Is that?
Oh, that is.
Is that? I know. Yeah, right. And I will say that Rainn Wilson. Rainn Wilson plays Dr. Demento.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty early on. That's pretty early on. And he is fantastic. And Daniel Radcliffe plays Weird Al.
Harry Potter.
And I asked
eat it! Eat it! Get yourself an egg and beat it!
I asked Weird Al, I said, so was Daniel Radcliffe your first choice? And he said, why? And I said, because Daniel Radcliffe doesn't jump out at me as the guy that will play Weird Al. And he said, he actually was our first choice. He said, my director and I did a Zoom call with him. I'd never met him and did a Zoom call. Turned out he was a fan and said he would love to do it. And I said, you know, I bet you have a lot of those encounters where people that you have idolized turn out to be your fans. I said, what was the weirdest one?
The weirdest?
Yeah. He said, right after I did Eat It, he said, I started to come into a little bit of notoriety.
I mean, I remember that video, MTV. I mean, it went everywhere.
Sure. Yeah. And he said, so I started getting kind of famous, you know, not anything huge yet. And he said, I went to a party and Paul McCartney was there. And he says, I go over to Paul McCartney, finally work up the nerve and the courage to go over to Paul McCartney and say, Mr. McCartney, I'm so glad to meet you. My name is Al Yankovic. And Paul McCartney looks at him and goes, Weird Al? And he goes, Linda, it's Weird Al. And he was a fan.
Holy cow.
I mean, that had to blow his mind.
I mean, I appreciate Weird Al's musicianship, but you're talking about the man.
Now, okay, on that point, on musicianship, his band, I would put up against any other band in the world.
Oh, okay.
Well, think about it. You've got to be able to play every style of music, right? And and he's had the same band since the 80s. He's a cool guy. He was a very cool guy.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Weird Al.
I would have never thought Harry Potter would be playing that role either out of everybody. I would have never saw it.
Daniel
but that's what's
Radcliffe.
cool. That's what's cool.
Yeah.
Now,
he sold 12 million albums.
unbelievable.
12 million albums. I mean, there are, you know, he's one of those guys that how long has he been going?
Yeah.
You know, he filled in for me for a week when I did radio in San Diego. in 1986.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Weird Al filled in for you.
for a week. Yeah.
He was your substitute DJ.
Well,
Is that how to put it?
I mean,
you tried to give him,
He was my-
like mancow.
he was my fill-in.
Like mancow, you gave him a shot.
And at the time, he was known as Al. And I go, why don't you go with Weird? And he goes, So, yeah.
That stuck too. Well, we'll talk about what name you have for me a whole nother show.
Oh, I got a
I'm
lot
interested.
of names. I got a lot. Got a lot of names. So, how about the weird things going on in Kansas City right now? KU football. What? That's fantastic.
It's been great.
I mean, I don't care which side of the state line you're on.
I don't either.
You
I don't
know.
either. It's been fun to watch.
It's just been fun to watch.
Well, in Tennessee.
Well,
But
yeah.
back to KU. Congratulations. National championship basketball.
Yep.
Football, same record as the Chiefs.
Well, I mean, how about a sold-out game?
Yeah.
How about the first time that ESPN Game Day has ever been in Lawrence for
That was fun to
football?
watch, wasn't it?
That's pretty cool. That was pretty
Those
cool.
fans had lined up a week before.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. It is a great time to live in Kansas City, I think. I mean,
Absolutely.
we got, with the Chiefs and KU and
The current around the bend.
the current is killing it.
Well, we got everything coming here. We got soccer.
We got
World Cup.
soccer. We got the Monarchs.
Is it draft day? What? No. What?
the NFL draft.
NFL draft. What?
It is a fantastic time to live in Kansas
So
City.
this is probably gonna be the last time we're gonna be able to do an intimate show like this. You and I. It's gonna get crazy.
We'll have to include guests.
Oh.
So thank goodness we had this time together, Michael.
Happy birthday, Randy.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time right here on
Randy Miller Radio.
.com.
RandyMillerRadio.com.